Hey GP learners, have you ever thought about changing your keyboard and what you might want to consider if you're using them in general practice? Well, I like the concept of having a different kind of keyboard because we spend so much time typing on them in practice that actually having a better experience I think is really important. And whilst Dell and the kind of standard kind of keyboards we get in practice are okay and functional and they clearly have their use, it'd be nice to have something that's just a little bit nicer, a little bit more functional, and just something that does what I want it to do. So in this episode, I'm going to show you one of my newest purchases, the Ajazz K620T, which is going to be my new deck at practice, and I'm going to show you what it's like right now. And this is it. So, hope you enjoy this video. Make sure you subscribe, ring the bell, and, well, let's tech enhance your primary care and learning. Shall we begin? If this is the first time we're meeting, I'm Dr. Gandalf of EGP Learning, where I look at supporting you, technology enhanced primary care and learning. And in this episode, I'm going to be showing you my new purchase, the Ajazz K620T, which is a wireless Bluetooth keyboard, as you can see here. And yeah, it's a little bit different from the standard kind of keyboards you would have come across. Why is it different? Well, let's look at it first of all. Number one, it's white. Almost every keyboard you'll see in general practice is black because they are typically the standard Dell kind of keyboards that we get. And there's a reason for that. So A, they're full keys, so they've got both the number pads as well as all the function keys along the top. They obviously take up a lot of space. Number two, they come integrated with smart card readers, and that's one downside to this particular keyboard. So I will need to use a separate smart card reader or have another keyboard in the background to keep my smart card in. I'm anxiously looking to the day when we have virtual smart cards, so we don't need those, but up until then I will need a separate device, so that's one thing to remember. But the reason why I want to get this, so number one, it's mechanical keyboard. What does that mean? Well, mechanical keyboards are types of keyboards that have a different way that they input the information in. So standard kind of keyboards that many of you are probably using, like the Dell kind of standard keyboards that we get, are what we call membrane keyboards. So when you press the key, it depresses a membrane dome, a rubber dome, and that then sends the transmission of the signal through to the computer to tell you what key you've inputted. And the thing with that is that they wear out quicker compared to mechanical keys. So mechanical keys are basically a mechanical switch that presses down, typically with a slight spring inside, and the key difference with those is that you can change the typing experience. They last much longer in terms of the functional elements of the key, and you can also program them because you can actually have it set that it puts more different keys in codes and that kind of stuff. So there's an element of programmability with it as well. As I said, you can also change the typing experience that you get with this. So what do I mean by different kind of keys? Well, mechanical keys come in various different types and forms, and the key difference with that is each key has a different pressure at which it switches over the signal to inform what kind of message you're sending, but also you can have a different feel to it. And there's generally three types. So you've got linear mechanical keys, which there's no resistance at all. You've got tactile ones, which then give you a slight responsive bump as you go down, and that's fairly similar to I think what most people would probably experience with a membrane, but nowhere near as good. And then you've got clicky keys, so these are the ones that make a definitive click every time you type down on the key, and you've got various different shades in between and stuff. And so this is a little pad I've got that shows you some of them. One of the most well-known companies that creates mechanical switches is a company called Cherry MX, and they're by many considered the gold standard, but there's some newer ones around that are pretty awesome, and effectively they come in different colors, and that's how you can tell what the type of keys there are. And the three kind of common ones that we come across are the blue, the red, and the brown. So the blue stands for clicky keys, the red stands for linear keys, and the brown is the tactile kind of bump that you get. And I'm going to try and show you what this is. So this is a little mechanical key switch I've got, and as you can see in the middle, got the three different types, so you can kind of hear and see what we've got. So I'm going to press on the blue one and listen to this. Can you hear that click? It kind of sounds like your old-fashioned typewriter, and that's the kind of feel you get. And you get a much better response because you get the tactile bump of the click, you get the audio element of the click, and for many people that's really what they prefer using. The slight downside to that is obviously the click that you can hear, so when you're typing it's potentially quite loud. Next up we've got the red. So these are the linear keys, so there's no kind of sound or anything like that comes through with them, and there's no bump either. So as you can see, a lot less sound and I've got no responsive kind of feel when I press on them. This is the kind of key I currently have on my Magic 468, so this is the keyboard some of you have seen in my more recent videos and stuff, and that I've been using for a while. And then we've got the tactile bump ones, so this is the brown keys. As you can see, nowhere near as loud as the clicky keys, but it still has that little bump as I press down. If I press partly, I've not pressed it enough to get the bump. There, just got the bump, and that means I've actually depressed the keys. And you've got various different types of ones in between. So we've got green keys, which are clicky as well, and you've got silver, black, all these other kind of ones which have different force actuation, so the different amount of force that you put in. So the black, you have to press a bit harder, but it's more like the red, so there's no sound or click that comes with it. And then you've got silver, greys, and clears, other kind of ones. That's for Cherry MX. This keyboard that I've got doesn't use Cherry MX keys, it uses a different type of more proprietary keys, but it's got the equivalent of the red Cherry MX keys in it. So this has got something called pink keys in, and as I press on it, you can hear there's no click. That's pretty nice for me, and the feel is amazing. The keys themselves are made out of PBS plastic, so it's really strong and it maintains the feel. And it also allows light to shine through the actual thing. So I haven't got it connected at this point in time, but light actually comes through the key, so if it's lit up, it works really well. I didn't mention that, did I? This will actually light up. So it's got backlit for LEDs under each individual key, so it can light up, and you can have various lighting patterns as well. So as you can set it so that you press it and you get like a shoot of light coming out, or different colors as well. But that's not the main reason I've got this. The main reason I've got this keyboard is actually partly the size, but it's this lovely little rack here at the top. So this is a really potentially awesome tool for portability, because you can just simply stick any device into here. So if you're doing video consultations, you can have that right there in front of you, don't need a separate stand. If you're working on a tablet or something like that, it will fit most standard type of tablets, and therefore works really well as a portability tool. Additionally, it's got this little volume rocker, and the reason why I wanted something like this, and I know it's really just probably independent to me, but being able to have a physical way of turning down the volume on my computer like this, a dedicated kind of media button, I would find really effective, because often I have to do kind of Zoom calls or Teams calls when I'm also on call, and I engage with partly, but then I have to dip out when I've got obviously patients to deal with, and then I have to quickly turn down the volume on my computer. And at the moment, I'm having to either do it by pressing multiple keys, or I'm having to do it by going with my mouse, and that's a bit fiddly and it takes a bit more time. Just literally having something I can just go whoop, whoop, up and down, or adjust the volume quickly and easily to what I know is set. I'd find that personally really useful and effective. And the final reason why I wanted this is because I can actually change the keys as well. So yeah, these keys are completely removable, and that's one of the other amazing benefits of mechanical keyboards. You can actually change the keys. So I'm going to do that right now. So got a little key puller that comes with it. I'm going to flip it in and pull it up. And as you can see, I've just taken off the G key. Okay, and what does it look like? Well, let's have a little look, shall we? So as I said, these are the pink switches that I mentioned. And these are kind of standard, so you can replace with any kind of key afterwards. And the other cool thing about this particular version, and the reason why I wanted it in white, is because it gives you some extra little keys here. So you get a yellow space bar, a green enter bar, and a pinkish red kind of escape bar button that you can see there. And then you can replace these onto the deck, and therefore it just looks nicer. But you can still get other kind of keys to put on as well. So you can get your own, you can get custom made ones, all that kind of stuff, just a little bit more personality. From a cleaning perspective, this is awesome, because this is now super easy to clean. So with infection control and that kind of stuff, you know, I can say that every month I clean out the keys properly. You know, you can literally pull them off, turn it over, shake, give it a quick dust, sorted, much more cleaner. And you can potentially even wash these keys if you wanted to as well, and do that really quickly and effectively and leave them to dry. And I think it just seems to work so well. I'm really keen to get this started and start using this in practice, and I'm more than happy to show you another video of what this looks like when I've got it in practice and stuff. The charge, it's got a massive battery. It does weigh quite a bit, and so it's got some obviously feet on the bottom to keep it stable, Slightly annoying you can't change the incline, so that's one of the differences between this and my Magic Force, which I can actually adjust the incline a little bit more because it's got separate extractable feet and stuff, and this one doesn't. But my god, it's solid as hell. Look at that. It's just no flex at all with the keyboard itself, and typing is an absolute dream. So yeah, it feels so nice typing and stuff. I do kind of wish it had the F12, the function buttons at the top, because of the fact that I tend to use them a lot with shortcuts and stuff in practice. But you can just use alternate keys to try and do that. It's got its own Windows key as well, which is good for doing quick things on practice and that kind of stuff in terms of how you use keyboards and stuff. The dedicated number pad I'm not so bothered about. I've found with using my Magic Force for the past few months, I've not needed as much, and I can type fairly quickly with that. But I have felt having an additional function keys would have been nice. So will I continue with it longer term? We'll see. I'm going to give it a nice good try and see how it goes in general practice, but these definitely have some features that I'm looking forward to using. I think as a portability keyboard, this is amazing if you want proper, fully function typing experience. And to be honest, at 40 quid, this has been an absolute bargain for me. So I've loved having this and stuff, and I'm going to really look forward, I think, to using this over the next few weeks and stuff. More happy to come back to you and show you what it's been like with doing it, and also what it looks like, because I'm probably going to kit it out with a little bit of extra things and stuff. As I did mention in practice, the downside is I'm going to have a separate card reader, so I've got one in my practice in terms of I can slip in and use, and I've had one because I've been using my own other one, my Magic 468, for a while. But what do you think, guys? What do you feel about using keyboards and different kind of keyboards in practice? Because actually it's important to really remember we spend so much time using a keyboard in practice, having a positive and good typing experience whilst we're doing it, so much better. And this is something that once you've found it, used it, it does massively make a difference to the experience that you have. So have a think. Let me know what you think as well. I'd love to hear your views, and particularly if there's other kind of ones out there that you would love. And if you find a mechanical keyboard with its integrated card reader, definitely let me know. I've been struggling to find one. I cannot find one. The closest thing I found are ones with USB pass-throughs, so you can stick them in, so you've got them at the side. If not, I'm afraid I'm going to have to use a separate USB to do that. And let me know what you think from that. Definitely make sure you subscribe. Link down below if you want more of the videos and stuff, as well as make sure you click the like button. Leave a comment. Love to know what you would think about this. If you do want to check out more videos and some other kind of stuff, have a look at this one right here, which is the one I'm suggesting you have a look at. And if not, have a look down here, because YouTube's telling you this is a really good video for you to have a look at as well. And as always, EGP Learning is here to help save you and your patients time by taking hands in your primary care and learning. Catch you in the next episode.